Hi friends, my name is Jess. Welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. So it's the 7th day of January and I've actually already read 5 books, but I'm still going to film my January TBR for you guys today. So the last couple of months of my life have been crazy. I left my previous job, went to a intensive 1.5 month job training for my current job, started my new job, moved to a new city, to a new apartment, and so I've just had a lot going on. So I have not accomplished like all of the plans that I wanted to do for 2021, but in 2022 we are turning over a new leaf and I'm super excited to read as much as I possibly can. My new job definitely gives me more reading time in terms of like I have work breaks, but also my mental health is in a lot better place now with this new job because it's definitely what I want to be doing. That's a little mini life update for you. But I have quite a few books that I want to get to in January, so I'm just going to hop right into talking about all of them. So first, I'm just going to briefly touch on some of the ones I've already read. So I have been in like a mood reading kind of mood, if you will. So I have just been wanting to pick up some adult romances, so I have done so. The first one that I read was Frat Wars by Saxon James. I don't have to explain myself to you, but actually this book was really fun. I liked it a lot. It's basically about these two guys who are in rival frats and they kind of meet on the off chance and really like each other, but then they realize who each other is and that it's kind of like a forbidden kind of thing not because they're frat boys, but just because they're from like rival frats. It's a lot of fun and one of our main characters is like kind of like a stereotypical like frat guy, but really he breaks all the stereotypes because he's just like a sweetheart, and while he cares a lot about his frat, he like is very anti-hazing, and he actually like in one scene hosts this like therapy group with some of his brothers that they call bro motions, and it made me so soft. I loved it a lot. This was just like a really fun read. This was actually the first book I read in 2022, so I'm not mad about it. It was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. And then next, I also read The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. And this was another male-male adult romance, and it featured these two characters, Dev, who works on this TV show called Happily Ever After, I think, which is like a play on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, except it's like royalty themed. So they give like away crowns instead of roses and like go on kind of like royalty themed dates. It was really a fun time. And then our love interest is actually the guy that is the bachelor on this show, and Dev is his handler. And so needless to say, they end up falling in love, and it was so cute, and I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna wait to share more of my thoughts for my wrap-up because otherwise what am I gonna talk about in my wrap-up? But I loved this book so much, and I was so happy I picked it up this month in January. And then The Charm Offensive, I just was looking for something very similar after I finished it. I just wanted to read the same exact thing pretty much over again. And so to scratch that itch, picked up Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. Thankfully, this came through. I loved this book. I've had this on my shelf since it came out in 2020, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to read it, but it's another male-male adult romance, and it follows these two characters. Luke, who is the son of a famous rock star. He's estranged from his father, though, never really has met him, but he's kind of like, the paparazzi follow him around a little bit, write bad stories about him. He kind of has this bad reputation, and he works for this charity, and he needs to have a good reputation for this charity, so he enlists Oliver to be his fake boyfriend to kind of boost his respectability, be like the right kind of gay. Textbook fake dating trope. And it was so good. I really loved how these characters interacted. It was just so funny. And again, I need to save my thoughts for my wrap-up, but I did read this one this month and wanted to read this one this month, so I'm including it in this video. Alright, so those are my like mood ready books, and it's kind of cheating because I've already read them, but I figured I would throw them in here because I put them on my January TBR. We love to feel accomplished before we've even made our list. Alright, next I have quite a few book club books that I need to read this month. So first of all is my book club that I host with Christine, Rachel, and Nicole, which is the Fantasy Series book club where we read kind of controversial or hyped fantasy series and see where our opinions lie on the subject. I am the member of the group that doesn't read a lot of fantasy, so I was honestly kind of excited for the pick this month because it is a fantasy romance. It's not like a high fantasy, and that is the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle Jensen. So this book basically follows this girl named Laura, and Laura is engaged to be married to this king of this rival kingdom. And it's kind of supposed to be like a peace treaty between the two kingdoms, this marriage. And she was like selected out of, well, she wasn't selected. She kind of selected herself out of all of her sisters to be the one to go to fulfill this treaty because she's also supposed to be like a spy and to help bring the kingdom down. She's supposed to be like an undercover assassin kind of deal. But she ends up realizing she has been brainwashed and that this king is actually great, and she falls in love with him. So definitely more up my alley than some of the other books we've read in this book club, so I was very excited. I've actually already finished the first one, which is technically the December pick, but we're going to be talking about it tomorrow if you watch this video on the day that it's uploaded. But I did enjoy it, so definitely check out that live show for our like discussion and our thoughts if you've read this book. And then the book pick for January is The Traitor Queen, which is the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series. The Bridge Kingdom definitely ends up on kind of like a cliffhanger, so I'm super excited to pick up this next book and definitely want to get to it this month. I'm kind of like notorious for not reading the Fantasy Series books until the very last minute, but I would like to change that with this one because I want to know what happened. Like, it's a really good series. I'm really enjoying it, so definitely if you're not a member of the Discord already, join the Discord for a Fantasy Series and participate in our book club. It's a lot of fun. We have great discussions every month, and it is hosted on my channel this month. So if you're reading along with the Bridge Kingdom, you can find that here, so definitely hit subscribe. Okay, the other book club that I want to try and participate in this month in January is Paige from the PM Reader. She is hosting a fanfiction themed book club where they read books that are like based on fanfiction, were originally fanfiction, or retellings, those kinds of things. I don't know exactly what the book club is called, and I was trying to research it, but I can't figure it out. So I will link that information down below though. So in January, they are reading The Love Hypothesis by 𝗙𝗵𝗱 𝗠𝗲, and I've heard so many good things about this book, and I've just been in an adult romance mood, as I was saying. So I really want to participate, and I love the idea of this book club. I think it sounds so fun. So I definitely want to try and read this one. As far as I know, this is like a Renlow fanfiction, I think. I don't know what that means because I don't watch Star Wars. Oh, this is a fake dating trope, which is fun. I didn't realize that. Okay. I was trying to read the synopsis, but I'm not really, I don't know how to explain this. So basically, Olive is a scientist and Adam is a professor, and they agree to fake date for some unknown reason. But then obviously they get feelings for each other. But I've heard that this is so cute, and I am ready for that. So I'm going to try and read it and participate in the book club. And then the last, it's more of a reading challenge than a book club or anything, and that is Kayla's Buzzwordathon 2022 challenge. I did good with this in 2021 for the first half of the year, and then I like completely fell off. So I really would like to try and complete it this year, and so that starts with reading a book for the January prompt, which is the 5 W's. So where, what, when, who, no. When, where, what, who, and why, and how. I don't know why that was so difficult. I was actually looking in the Storygraph challenge, and there was people that were like, I guess thought that it just was like any W word in the title. I digress. I don't mean to be judgmental, but I just thought it was funny. I mean, read whatever you want, but it's cracking me up. I am also going to cheat and use Hal though, so I'm not really one to talk, but I think I'm going to try and read Hal, the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black, which is like a little spin-off companion novella of the Folk of the Air trilogy, which I read last year and loved, was obsessed with. This will just be like a short, quick read to accomplish this prompt, because I have a bunch of other stuff that I need to read this month, and surprisingly none of it contained any of those words, so I had to pick a different like specific book, and this is the different specific book that I decided to pick. All right, and then the rest of the books I'm going to read this month are for various videos. I am trying to work my way through the Goodreads thriller category. Like, I'm going to do the top 10 like I did last year. It's going to be a little bit different because I just wasn't filming and things when the results and stuff was coming out, so it's not going to be super involved, but I do want to read all the books and kind of like rank them and give my opinion on things. So I am doing that. I'm like halfway through right now, but hopefully that video will be up by the end of the month. I digress. So, first book on the list that I haven't read yet is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This is a Jane Eyre retelling in like a thriller, which Jane Eyre is kind of like a gothic horror novel, so lends itself well to a thriller retelling. But basically, there's this woman, and I started reading this book a little bit. She's like a dog walker in like a posh neighborhood, and she meets this Mr. Rochester-esque man and like goes into his house, and I think that they form up some kind of relationship. And then she discovers, obviously, he has a crazy wife in his attic. I say crazy like that because obviously she's not. This man is just a psychopath. At least that's what I assume this book is about when people tell me it's a Jane Eyre retelling. So planning to read that. Another book on that list is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia Manasala. I put all these books in my December TBR also, but anyway, I digress. This is about this woman who is a chef, and her ex-boyfriend is a food critic and I think eats at her restaurant or something, and then he dies. So she is accused of poisoning him and murdering him basically. So she has to kind of figure out what actually happened and clear her name, prove her innocence. So I think this is like a cozy mystery. It sounds cute. I'm not sure I'm gonna love this one, but I am willing to give it a try. Also, Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead. This one's hard for me to explain. I think it's about this guy who used to be involved in crime and then he like got himself out of it and then he kind of gets drawn back into it again. I don't have the highest hopes for this one either, although I just feel like it's going to be boring. But I will reserve judgment until I finish reading it. I don't know a lot about it. Sorry. Next is Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This is about these two men who both have gay sons that were in a relationship with one another, and then somebody murders them, I believe. So the fathers, even though they weren't necessarily super supportive of their sons in life, kind of come to realize what they had, and they decide to exact revenge on the person who murdered their sons. And they like work together and form a bond. I've heard super good things about this one, so I'm excited to jump into it. And this, on the other hand, is one that I think I will very much enjoy. Oh, I also forgot to talk about Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, but I did already finish this one. I think that's why I forgot. But I did finish it in January. But this is an isolated setting thriller about this couple whose marriage is kind of on the rocks, and so they go away for this. They win this weekend away, and they go away with the attempt to try and fix their marriage. But then creepy things start happening. They get snowed in. The power gets cut off, and there is this strange woman wandering about the property causing mayhem. They don't really know what's going on or why they're there. They start to think they're there for some other kind of a sinister purpose, which they're not wrong. This was a fun time, but I will talk about it more in that future Goodreads video. And then the final book that I have to read for that video is Billy Summers by Stephen King. I believe this book is about a hitman that only kills men he deems bad that he thinks deserve it, but he wants to get out of it. I think, let me read the synopsis. Yeah, basically what I described. He wants to get out of it, but he has like one last hit he has to accomplish, but something goes wrong. So I don't know. My dad really liked it. And then finally, another two books that I've been talking about forever because I started this freaking secret TBR like back in the summertime. But first of that is If We Were Us by 𝗙𝗏𝗲 This is like a love square kind of book. It's a YA set in a posh boarding school, and it follows these characters. Two are best friends and everyone thinks they like should be together, but really he is crushing on her brother and she is crushing on this other guy. You know, love square shenanigans. It sounds cute. And this author really loves Taylor Swift, so that makes me want to really like this author. And then the second book for that video would be A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This is like a dark academia book set at this New England boarding school, and our main character left early the year before because her girlfriend had actually died in some kind of event that she was involved in. I think it involved witchcraft of some kind. She comes back wanting a fresh start, hoping to stay out of all of that, but I think she can't really resist being a part of the witchiness of this school and what's going on, and she meets this new girl. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about this one, so I'm not sure, but I am going to finally read it this month. Please hold me to it. So I think those are all of the books that I want to try and get to in January. So hopefully I will be able to do so on a good train right now, having already finished 5. So I am very hopeful that I will continue to cross things off my list and get out some more content. I'm really hoping 2022 is going to be my year of content. Last year was just not it, just for like circumstantial and mental health reasons. But I am very excited for this year and this fresh start and all my plans to come. So I really hope you would subscribe and stick around. It would mean a lot to me. You can also follow me on Instagram if you're so inclined, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.